guys, welcome to Carol's Universe, tarot readings from the heart. So we're going to do your week ahead reading. We are looking at your general life during the week, your love life and also your career. Sit back, relax and enjoy your reading. Hi guys, just want to show you the cards that are being used firstly before we crack on. For your general message for the week, we're using the beautiful Tarot of Mystical Moments by Catherine Welch Stein. I actually got this deck from America. It's coming, if you live in the UK, guys, it's coming to the UK around, I think, probably around April time. I couldn't wait any longer for this for this deck. I really had to have it, so I had to order it. And kind of paid double the price of what I've paid for it here, but it's a mass market deck. And when I say it's not like a mass market deck, I mean it's not like a mass market deck. It's really, really high quality, and it's beautiful. You see what I mean once we start using it for the reading. So that's for your general message. For your career message, we're using the Radiant Weight Tarot, Radiant Rider-Waite Tarot in a tin. Well, we all know what the Rider-Waite is, don't we? For the love reading, we're using the Modern Love Tarot by Ethany. She's a YouTuber and she's incredible. She creates some of the most fantastic tarot and oracle decks. Really love her work. And finally, for your spiritual advice this week, we are using another Catherine Welch Stein deck, and it's the Oracle of Mystical Moments. So she created actually the Oracle of Mystical Moments first, and then she followed it up with the Tarot of Mystical Moments. Both decks are beautiful, especially this one. So yeah, that's what we're using this week, guys. Hi Virgo, welcome to Carol's Universe, Tarot Readings from the Heart. Thanks ever so much for joining me on your week ahead reading. This is the 1st to the 7th of February 2021. We're going to have a look at your general, your love and your career, and also your love reading. Okay guys, so the cards are down. Let's have a look at what the general message is for this week, Virgo. Okay, so we have the Hermit. The Hermit's you, isn't it? Because you're Virgo. And the Hermit is all about insight, education, knowledge, discovery is the Hermit. It's also a card about withdrawal and distance. Let's have a look at what the next one is so we can get some idea on this. You know, it's an interesting one, but because the Hermit has a great deal of experience as well. Remember, the Hermit's lived a life, so it's got a great deal of experience and a great deal of knowledge. So the Hermit can then become, in that, a mentor for others. And then we have this page here, and the Page of Coins usually in the tarot is a student, somebody who is learning a craft, or, you know, they're learning about business, or they're learning about money. You can see that they've got this flower here and the water pot on the back of her, on the, you know, on her back, you know, like a rucksack or something. And so, you know, she has the resource here. So she's learning how to use the resources that she has. And when I look at both cards here, Virgo, it just feels that the message this week, it just generally is about Virgo's kind of responsibility in a way to guide, because Hermits are guides. So I actually feel that the message so far is that there is a need for you to guide. Perhaps this person could be younger than you with the Page of Coins energy. If you're a teacher, it may be a particular student with the Page of Coins energy, Virgo. If this is, you know, your kid, it could be your child. It could also be a friend. It could be a lover. It could be a parent. It could be an uncle, an aunt. Page of Coins, or any page, isn't just about a physically younger person. It's also about somebody who doesn't have as much knowledge or as much education. They're still learning. The Hermit would be completely educated. The Page of Coins is not. So I just feel that the first message that we're looking at potentially is the need for Virgo to educate and to mentor and to guide somebody who is learning. Perhaps this person wants to learn a craft, because Page of Coins is all about learning a skill in a craft. So the message this week is about Virgo guiding a younger person or somebody who doesn't have as much experience. Perhaps they're learning a craft. This revolves around a new idea, perhaps, that this page has had, because the Ace of Wands is new ideas. It could also be inspiration, is the, you know, a stroke of inspiration, for example, with the Ace of Wands. Okay, so the Eight of Wands. Often I think of the Eight of Wands as directing something. Like, all of the wands are usually going in one direction. There's a very direct sense of energy coming from a... and actually, the Eight of Wands indeed can also be energy. It's just because wands are energy, they're fire. So it may be that the message this week so far, Virgo, is that there is a need for you to guide or mentor somebody who is less experienced, or I don't think it's even less experienced. I think this may be somebody who is younger, and possibly how to direct with the Eight of Wands their energy. What's the last card? Okay, the Fool. So the Fool is the new path, right? Moving forward, the Fool is the new path. This is the, not just new beginnings, but it's the new path, the new journey, the new road that someone's on. I just get a sense here that the message for the week, Virgo, is that the universe is asking you this week to, or you know, coming up into the following weeks, to use all of the information, all of the knowledge that you hold, all of the insights that you hold with the Hermit energy, Virgo, to mentor and to guide somebody who is learning at the moment, somebody who needs guidance with this Page of Coins. It may be that they need to learn with this Page of Coins how to direct with that Eight of Wands their energy, with the Ace of Wands energy, especially with the Fool energy being kind of directionless, because the Fool is just starting out. Okay, so, and you've got a lot of young cards here. Well, yeah, 3 young cards out of 4, so out of 5 cards. So the ethos, I think, of the reading is about youth and somebody who is just coming up, because the Page of Pentacles is young, doesn't know anything, is just learning. The Ace of Wands is a seed that is just burgeoning, and the Fool is also somebody who is young and just starting out, and the Hermit is the guide. This is the person who has the experience, and the Eight of Wands is movement and direction. So I just feel that looking at these cards here, that there is a sense of Virgo, you needing to, the message is that you really need to perhaps pay more attention to someone who is younger, perhaps less experienced, and who needs to have some form of direction, or needs to learn how to direct their energy, especially if it's to do with a new path, or especially if it's to do with the Fool energy, that they are, you know, they are young, they are directionless, but they've got all of this energy. The Eight of Wands can be lots of energy. So if you're experiencing someone around you who's got a lot of energy, but they don't really know what to do with it, then it may be down to you, Virgo, to direct them, help them direct their energy, perhaps into something new, with the Fool energy showing here as well. Let's have a look at the career reading. Indecision, the Two of Swords. Some of you guys may be feeling a little bit indecisive about career at the moment, with the Two of Swords energy showing here. The Queen of Wands. So the Queen of Wands could be a person. The Queen of Wands could also be a career. This could be an entrepreneur, or somebody who works in a high-level job like HR, for example. Project management is the Queen of Wands. That type of thing. She's also an actress as well, and somebody who's on the TV, or a singer, or that type of thing. See, I'm getting 2 things here, really. I think that for some of you guys, you may have... Virgo, the message for work could be about a clash, conflict with the Two of Swords. You may have conflict with these 2 queens showing, because 2 queens in a reading so far represents gossip and conflict with others. Okay, if you get more than 2 queens, if it's 3, 4, you've got a lovely feminine supportive network around you. But a couple of queens could be... and I'm noticing as well that this queen is looking over at this one. This one tends to be ignoring her, though. None of these queens is you, though, which is interesting. No, I think I'm thinking 2 things here. Let's get the other one up as well and have a look at what this is. The Ace of Swords, 3 of Wands. So the 3 of Wands moving out of that Eight of Swords energy showing there. So there's 3 things that I'm kind of thinking here, in a way, sort of, I suppose. I think number 1 message is that there is, for some of you guys, there is indecision here. Your indecision in terms of career may be relating to what type of job you do. The Queen of Wands can be a more creative type of a job. She could also work within the spiritual world, like working as a tarot reader like myself, or you know, somebody who works as a medium or a clairvoyant, because she's spirit. Pure spirit is the Queen of Wands. Well, not pure because she's underscored by water, but she is, what wands are spiritual. So there may be indecision between maybe doing a more spiritual or creative job as opposed to doing something that's more professional with the Queen of Swords energy. Some of you guys may be a little bit confused by that with the Eight of Swords. If you are, then I would suggest, I think that the message is to reach out, to ask questions, to get some form of deeper knowledge maybe into what encompasses either one of these two. Queen of Swords would be more the professional type of a job. She's the lawyer, you know. She's the office manager, is the Queen of Swords. She's the psychotherapist, the psychologist. She's those types of job. The Queen of Wands can be an entrepreneur. She can still work in, you know, an office and stuff, but she's usually an entrepreneur or somebody who manages a creative business, for example, or she's a pop star or she's a singer. So you may be undecided with the two queens. Do I do this job or do I do this one, you know? And there may be a lot of confusion in here. If there is, then there is a need for you to reach out to others to get a few answers to the questions. The other thing I'm thinking for the message is that it looks to me like there is a little bit of a conflict, perhaps, Virgo, between you and another person or a couple of others. The Eight of Swords shows up here, and I'm seeing the Queen of Swords facing in on that. And it may be that there's some frustration. Perhaps you've got somebody around you who's quite critical. She can be quite critical, and perhaps there's a lot of frustration concerning that. I think if that's the case for some of you guys, then there is a need here, Virgo, really to focus on the future and to focus on, with this Three of Wands energy, transcending that, moving out of that. Perhaps you need to kind of start, you know, initiating new ideas, setting a few ideas out there with the Three of Wands energy, because the Three of Wands is, it's not just a card about waiting. It's also a card about envisioning the future and looking to the future outside of the Eight of Swords. The Eight of Swords doesn't look to the future. The Eight of Swords can only feel its own pain in the here and now. But the Three of Wands has this potential, this thing where they say, okay, you know, I've got this conflict going on with these two people here, especially one of these women here or one of these colleagues here who seems to be consistently criticising me. And some of you guys are feeling powerless in somebody's criticism. The Queen of Swords is highly critical, and the Eight of Swords can be feeling very powerless concerning somebody's criticism here. There's another queen here. I don't know whether you've got beef with one or two people. Whatever it is, I've got somebody here who seems to be probably highly critical with that Queen of Swords energy, one in which you may feel powerless. So it may be that you're feeling powerless against somebody here in the workplace, Virgo, but I feel that the message is really to expand your horizons if that's the case, to go out there and look for other things. You don't have to stay where you are, and you certainly don't have to stay stuck, perhaps with somebody's bad behaviour. Finally, in terms of love, what have we got? Oh, have I done these reversed by accident? Oh, they're not meant to be reversed, I don't think. Let me just check. No, they're not. Sorry, I didn't look at them in the right way. That's nice. Three of Cups and the Four of Wands. This looks like an event, a celebration, possibly even a wedding. Oh, what's this? Wheel of Fortune. In love. Wheel of Fortune can be fate and destiny. But depending on what these cards are, that can also indicate change. It's meant to be in the upright sun. The Eight of Cups after the sun. That's interesting. Message in love. There's a great deal of happiness and contentment I see in a relationship. I even see something concerning marriage or an engagement here. But I think, if I'm being honest with you, to me this looks like this could change. The sun is aspected by that Eight of Cups energy, and it just feels like with the sun energy highlighting, being a card, because this can actually shine a light in on this card here. So it may be that this energy here changes perhaps for some of you guys. Perhaps you reach this place of enlightenment that you're not, that you don't, this is something that you don't truly want, or this is something that doesn't truly make you feel happy, with the Eight of Cups energy showing here. Because the sun is enlightenment as well. It's not just about happy stuff. It's also about an awakening showing up here as well. And I also, what I get from this Wheel of Fortune, it's not so much change. It means in time. It's almost like, if you can, you see, this is like what do they call them? Hourglasses? It's almost like an hourglass, where it looks like the sand is going down. So it's almost like saying in time, it feels like there may be a realisation going on here. Perhaps there is going to be some enlightenment with the sun energy, that one is not as happy as they think that they are going to be. It's not, I mean, it's a message, but whenever I get messages like that, I always feel that I need to ask what the sign needs to do about this. Let's get that reading again. I see a great deal of happiness within a relationship here. Possibly talks of marriage as well. It looks like there is an event taking part here. Three of Cups and the Four of Wands. It could be a marriage, it could be an engagement. Maybe you're doing a christening of a child or something like that. Maybe you're celebrating the pregnancy of a child. But I do feel in time, with that Wheel of Fortune, either you or the partner will become more aware of your disenchantment or a disengagement within this relationship. And first of all, I'm going to ask why that would be. Why would this be? Why would in time, or after, you know, in a matter of time, why would it that Virgo or the partner would possibly realise that they are not essentially happy in this relationship? Why in two cards? Because the Magician. That tried to come out before, and I put it back, the Knight of Wands. So let's think about this. We've got the Magician and the Knight of Wands, and the question is, why is it for a happy relationship, a marriage, perhaps a, you know, engagement perhaps happening here for some of you guys, why would it be perhaps with the Wheel of Fortune that in time this changes to being awakened, not happy, not being awakened, not feeling emotionally engaged with the relationship? The Eight of Cups is leaving a relationship, usually walking away. And for me, it's almost saying with these two cards that in time you're enlightened. Like, it's almost like at the moment you may feel like this, but in time you'll feel like this. And I asked the question, what would be the reason for that? And we have the Magician and the Knight of Wands. It's an interesting one, but to me the Magician and the Knight of Wands looks like somebody who could be quite dynamic if you look at both together. To me, it can have a couple of different meanings. One of the meanings could be that this attraction with the spark, because the Magician in a love reading can often represent the spark that people feel. And with the Knight of Wands, it could mean that it's fleeting. It wasn't meant to last forever. So it could mean looking at these combinations here, that perhaps what you have now turns to this, where you have all the happiness with the Three of Cups and the Four of Wands. You've probably spoken about marriage or, you know, getting engaged, having kids, that type of thing, Virgo. But in time, this dissipates to this awakening of the sun, suddenly being awoken by the fact that maybe you're not that happy and maybe it's time to kind of just pack your bags and leave. And it's either going to be, I think, for some of you guys, and I don't think it will happen this week. For some of you, it may. For some of you, I just think that it's something that might just come upon you this week or in the next few weeks, maybe. But it may be for some of you guys that the awakening that you're not entirely happy in the relationship seems to come through a sense of this spark kind of leaving. Because the Knight of Wands also leaves places. So the spark leaves, like not feeling the energy or the happiness or the attraction that you once did with both cards. Also, the other idea that we could probably look at with this combination here is this just looks like a dynamic person entering, because Knight of Wands can also be, the Knights arrive, right? So the Knight of Wands and the Knight of Swords can be arrivals, as well as the Knight of, any of the Knights can, to be perfectly honest with you. But there's something about the way that the Knight of Wands and the Knight of Swords tend to arrive. They tend to arrive with all this swagger, and all of this kind of charismatic energy. And they arrive in like your typical knights in white shining armour, you know. And it could be that the realisation that this relationship here isn't for you is initiated by a dynamic individual. The magician is dynamic. Because at first when I pulled the card, I thought it was maybe in some form of an illusion here. But I don't think it's necessarily an illusion. Or it could be. Knight of Wands is passion as well. Passion and interest. So it could be perhaps that this is blind passion. This is not really passion. This is not the passion that you thought it was. You know, the passion is the illusion. I would have expected, though, a moon card probably to turn up with that if that was the case. But I certainly feel it's either to do with somebody dynamic and really attractive perhaps arriving that kind of just throws you off your game and says, I mean, that's happened to me before way in the past, years ago, where I was this stage within a relationship, and then all of a sudden I was awoken to the fact that I wasn't happy in the relationship. And it was because I had a really dynamic guy arrive in my life that kind of threw everything out of the window for me and made me realise, actually, I thought I was happy in the relationship that I'm in, but actually I'm not. So yeah, it may be for some of you guys that there is a recognition that you're not entirely happy where you are in the relationship that you're in, either because somebody new, somebody exciting and dynamic and charismatic, i.e. that magician and the Knight of Wands arrives, or it's simply that the attraction or the spark that you once held with the Knight of Wands, though the Knight of Wands is often the ramping up card, it can also be the dissipation card too, because it leaves, it exits. So it may also be because the excitement and the dynamism with the magician energy tends to kind of leave and dissipate very quickly as it arrived in. So yeah, interesting. And that'll be for some of you guys that have been in a relationship for a long time, and it'll also be for some of you guys who are just starting out, you know, 3 months in or something like that. So I think that's the message in terms of love. Let's get this reading again, and then we're going to wrap up with the spiritual advice. So in terms of general message for the week, Virgo, I do feel that this is a week to step up with the Hermit. It's your duty in a way to guide somebody who's less experienced. This person, I think, with the Ace of Wands holds a lot of energy, but I think with the Eight of Wands there is a need for them to direct that energy towards this new, because I think that with the Fool energy, the Fool is directionless as well. You know, the energy with the Ace of Wands is direction, because the Fool just leaps. He's not really got a direction. He's just leaping. You know, that's what Fools do. They just leap. They don't really think. So it almost feels like with the Ace of Wands and the Fool energy, that the energy with the Ace of Wands is kind of directionless with the Fool, and it needs to be directed with that Eight. And I think that the message is for you, Virgo, that you need to kind of step up now with this Hermit, take all of the experience that you've got and guide this Page of Pentacles, guide the Page of Pentacles, the student, the less experienced person. The energy is not directed, and it needs to be directed from you going forward. And also I think the energy it needs to be directed so that you can kind of put them on a new path, if that makes any sense. In terms of work, what I'm seeing here, Virgo, is some of you guys do have a little bit of a conflict going on. You got the two queens showing in the reading. So two queens in a reading is often conflict and gossip. So I do see in work a little bit of conflict and gossip going on here. And I'm seeing somebody also being highly critical towards you and but I think that there is somebody here who is trying to also render you powerless, because the Queen of Swords, can you see how she's challenging you? And there you are, kind of, I think this is you, Virgo, all tied up in the Eight of Swords. So this person, I see somebody who's trying to perhaps even degrade you or devalue you and your potential. But I think that the advice and the message really lies within the Three of Wands. And I think that if you are experiencing that, Virgo, now is the time to start kind of exploring other options with the Three of Wands. To start setting off, setting a new sail here, you know. So there's a need for you to start, because sometimes you can fight in a career with others. You know, you can have competitive people, and you can have people. To me, this Queen of Swords would look like a boss or a manager who would consistently be putting you down or something like that. with the Eight of Swords. It just looks very much like that. The Queen of Swords being the highly critical, a very pushy queen. And in a work reading, she tends to be the boss from... She's not always like that. She can be pretty good as well. But I just feel like with this Eight of Swords being the card of restlessness and powerlessness, some of you guys may be feeling powerless against somebody who's highly critical of you. And if this Queen of Swords is the Queen of Wands, she's also extraordinarily pushy too. Very forthright, very forceful. And I think that if you're dealing with that, there is a need with the Three of Wands to pursue, to explore and to, expand your horizons. Also, there may be a decision that needs to be made in terms of the messages. There may be a decision to make with the Two of Swords. Perhaps some of you guys are needing to make a decision between being a YouTube star with the Queen of Wands or working in a more professional, more professional job. With the Eight of Swords energy, I just feel that it might be that this is a bit of a confusing time with the Eight of Swords energy, and there is a need, I think, with the Eight of Wands energy just to kind of explore and ask questions about this and reach out to others and get a little bit more advice and that type of thing. Finally, I would say in terms of love, some of you guys may be feeling this. It might be a new relationship, it might be an old one. But the idea of the Three of Cups and the Four of Wands in terms of a relationship reading can often mean engagements and weddings and baptisms and things like that. It's just a generally good feel combination in terms of relationship. It's the best. However, we do have this wheel, and the wheel can change. The wheel is not always good fortune. The wheel really is just, it's like justice. It's a superficial card. Not superficial, sorry. It's not a card that has to indicate that there is good luck or fate involved here. But it could also be you feel like this right now, but you are fated then to do this. Because it's saying in time. So it's almost like, because it's the Wheel of Fortune as well, it's out of your control. This is something that, and I think if there's an arrival of an individual here coming in, this person is coming in to kind of highlight with this Sun energy your unhappiness, your true unhappiness in this relationship. Because even though you might be feeling okay right now, there is something, I think, that is fated to happen that will highlight and will bring up the places where you're not entirely happy. And whether this person comes in, for the long term, it looks to me with the Magician and the Knight of Wands, it's a short term thing, because often these are very dynamic types that come in and sweep you off your feet, but it doesn't last very long. The whole reason that this person would come in, I think, would be to teach you something about your relationship and to teach you something about yourself that you're not quite seeing. But also, by the same token, it could be that the reason for suddenly being awakened to your own discontentment with the Eight of Cups and the Sun card could simply be because the magnetism, I think it is, of the relationship, the attraction, the spark is really just, it's just dissipating with the night, it's leaving with the night. And it could just be a simple thing where things are just fizzling out, and you're beginning, with the fizzling out of all of this, you're beginning to kind of understand and realise with the Eight of Cups that you aren't as emotionally connected as you once thought you were. Let's have a quick look at what the spiritual message is for the week. God, this card keeps showing up for all of the signs. Practically all of them today have had this card. Kali, let's get that one more time. I don't know why this keeps showing up for the card for the different readings. It's really interesting. Let's have a look. So let's get to Kali. Here we go. Goddess of Destruction, Kali, calls for you to face your shadow self. Things lurking underneath may be disrupting what you're trying to achieve on the surface. Facing those aspects of yourself is the only way forward. Kali helps you embrace them so you can truly be free from fear. All right, Virgo, that is your reading. I would like to say thanks ever so much for joining me on Carol's Universe. If you'd like your own private reading, click on the link in the comment section below. Also, if you'd like to see a walkthrough of this particular deck, which is the Tarot of Mystical Moments, I had to order this from America because the UK doesn't have this until April and I couldn't wait. But it's an amazing deck. It's really lovely, lovely, lovely deck to work with. It's one of my best decks now at the moment. I only had it a few days. But yeah, you can have a look at a walkthrough review of this on the channel. The link is in the comments section also. Have a great week, guys, and I will see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.